Introducing Oakley Meta Vanguard, the new performance AI glasses designed for athletes with an action-ready ultra-wide camera, powerful open-ear speakers, and built-in Meta AI that syncs with your Garmin devices for real-time insights while you train. Take your performance to the next level with Oakley Meta Vanguard. Athletic intelligence is here. Learn more on meta.com.
Thursday Night Football is on, and it's only on Prime Video.
That's going to be caught.
This week, the Minnesota Vikings head west to face the Los Angeles Chargers.
They'll take that all day.
Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern with football's best party. TNF Tonight, presented by Verizon. Not a Prime member? Not a problem. Simply sign up for a 30-day free trial. It's the Vikings and the Chargers, Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Prime Video. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details.
Finished training for the day? Time to fight post-workout fatigue with Core Power Protein Shakes. They're packed with 26 grams of high-quality protein to build muscle and electrolytes to help hydrate. The nutrition you need to help your body replenish, rebuild, and repair post-workout so you can power on to the next one. Champion your recovery with Core Power. Visit corepower.com to learn more.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Skating Penguin Network. It is Robbie here again. We have a bunch of games to recap in this episode tonight, starting out in California, and then this evening's game against the Canucks back home. But before we do that, as always, I am joined by Snail on the other end of the line in a, we will call it a depressed city of Seattle on this Tuesday afternoon. A tough game. In the baseball world for the Seattle Mariners last night in Toronto. So Snail, we talked a little bit before we hit record here. A tough day out there in Seattle.
Oh, a big day of mourning, and some of it's knee jerk still. Some of it's, I feel like I got through the shock. It took me a while, and I'd been drinking, so it was of course an elevated kind of immediate mourning of the season and what the Mariners had accomplished. But I will say that, yeah, the city is in mourning. Everyone's a little bit down. It wasn't an extra innings, but as a I'm more of a hockey guy than a baseball guy at this point in my life. Yeah. And I'll say, kind of gave the same vibes as, being on the other end of the Kunitz double OT knuckle puck past Anderson.
Can't imagine. Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't imagine that. That's another level, I think, but similar vibes, I think, honestly.
I could see that. I mean, you had the hopes of you leading by 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th. Things are going pretty well. You have control of the game. And then and baseball is a sport where it can get sucked out of you in a moment. You go from leading by 2 to trailing by 1, literally in the blink of an eye. No other sport is really like that. And it just sucks everything out of you as a fan. Again, I would kill for the Pirates to be in a position to have their heart broken in a Game 7 of an LCS series. But yeah, Seattle has been waiting for literally its entire existence to play for a World Series. And unfortunately not this year, but a good core of players there. Some guys to bring back and make some decisions. But I mean, after Game 5 with the Grand Slam and the comeback in that game, just the entire season as a whole, a crazy season to be a Seattle Mariners fan. The first time they've had, I'd say, long-term or even medium-term hope in what feels like a very long time for that franchise.
Yeah, man. God, you kind of hit the nail on the head there on multiple fronts. The first thing I would like to say is, after sleeping on it and kind of getting over the initial shock of the events last night, I think you said it best that like how you felt about Pirates right now. I think if you told Mariners fans that you're going to get to Game 7 of an ALCS, but you're going to get your heart broken, I would say 99.9% of Mariners fans would say, just let's do it. Like, sign me up for that. At least you're there, you know?
Yeah.
I think one thing too that I really thought about last night at the bar while I was kind of wallowing was, this was a great team and it's a great roster. They've got a lot of their core locked in, and it's going to be kind of, you could, go back to the Penguins like dominant years where you're going to tinker around the edges for a long time. You've got Cal Raleigh signed up, and apparently Cal Raleigh went into the GM's office before he signed his ticket and said, he had a notebook of questions for the organization, basically asking, how are you going to help me get a ring? You've got Julio Rodriguez locked up. He's only like 24 years old. People forget he's a young guy. That Wu is a stud. Unfortunately, he was hurt in the first round of the playoffs that they played, and he's going to be with the team. They've got a good group there. I think that, if they just don't knee-jerk react and sign a bunch of UFAs and get themselves in trouble with contracts, I think that they have a good chance of just running it back. Dan Wilson, it's his first full season as a coach of the Mariners. And, some people question, this is a guy that never got it done himself. He was on the last team that went even that close to, like, even getting that close where they never won in the ALCS. So I think he's still learning as a skip, but I've got faith in the guy. I think catchers have a great mind for the game. And, the one more point I wanted to get across about this Mariners team was playing the Blue Jays, who had a great season this year. They just had a great season, top to bottom, from the beginning of the year, kind of a surprising. You got to remember, they didn't have Bo Bichette in this series, and he's arguably their best player. Yeah. So they were missing one of their studs, and the Mariners did take them to 7 games. And let's not kid ourselves as Mariner fans out here in Seattle, like, this lineup had holes in it. They relied too much on the long ball. It was very clear that the Blue Jays really exposed them. I mean, the Mariners were aggressive at base running, and they were able to hit the long ball, and they had some clutch performances, but they have some big holes in their lineup that if you're looking to compete with a team like the Dodgers, who talk about running it back, I mean, that team's going to be they're going to be the team to beat for quite some time, I think. Yeah. When you look at a team like that you're going to be, when you're thinking playoffs, you're thinking Dodgers. Got a lot of holes. I mean, they don't got a lot of guys who move runners around and kind of get guys on base. It's they live and die by the long ball. So I think we got to kind of remember that, and just let's not overreact. But the history's there. Still haven't. The Seattle Pilots became the Milwaukee Brewers, and even they've been to a World Series. The Mariners are the one and only team that haven't. And but like I said, I think they'll be back in this position at some point. I think that their window is, as they say, their window is open.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. And great series. And when I saw Vladdy Jr. walk in with an Austin Matthews jersey for Game 7,
I thought he cursed himself.
I'm like, man, that's not – this is going to end poorly, and it almost did. But no, they didn't get the Leafs Game 7 bad luck juju. Seattle will have to wait another year for their shot at playing for a World Series. But like I said, it seems like there's some at least long-term hope now in Seattle, other than just like a flash in the pan kind of thing. So
that's what they're worried about here the most, is because back in 2022 they made the playoffs and they actually skunked the Blue Jays. Remember in that wild card game?
Yep.
They ruined Alek Manoah's career.
Basically, yeah.
But a lot of Mariners fans are worried because they made the playoffs and they were supposed to be a lock to just kind of run it back again and be a playoff team, and they missed 2 years in a row. So I think this team is much better than that team was that made it. I mean, they were in a wild card spot then, and I think that this team is, I think they've done an actual. I'll give them their flowers. This organization, I call Safeco Field, aka T-Mobile Park, Depoto's House of Horrors. Because it has been that at times, but I will give this management credit. I think that they saw something here and they weren't afraid to make some moves, and it paid off. So they've got a sort of a formula here, I think, and they've got players to work off of, and it'll just be some tinkering around the edges, and I think they'll be a lock to make the playoffs again. Also, is George Springer, is he outside of Seattle, is he an unlikable player in the league?
Well, he was involved with the Astros when they had their cheating scandal, so I guess it depends on how you view that. I've never heard anything personally bad about him, like off the field. Just he was involved with that that whole situation is all I really
cheating to win a World Series.
Yeah.
Pretty unlikable. Yeah. But I just feel like he was a pain in the ass. He's their designated hitter. He's old, and he terrorized the Mariners, man.
He did.
And I think that a lot of Mariner fans, even people in my friends and family, can't stand the guy. And I was curious because you know ball. You're a baseball fan. Does he have that same vibe to other markets, or is it just the recency bias?
Well, as a Pirates fan, I can't really, just because there's literally no history between the Astros and Pirates.
History,
so I can't say, but I know the Yankees fans hate him. Anybody that was like close to competing during like the Astros heyday in before 2020, really don't like anybody involved with the Astros. So like the Yankees are in there. The Red Sox are probably in there. I think anybody in that division probably hates the Astros. That goes from the Rangers, the Athletics, the Mariners, that entire division. The Angels would be in there as well. All hate for Springer, one, because of the cheating, two, just because the Astros rivalry throws all that in there.
You could throw Altuve in there.
Yeah, Altuve. Yeah, any of those like big name Astros players are going to get that kind of heat from around the league. Fair.
Well, we can move on from the baseball talk, but that was an eventful series, an eventful game. It felt kind of weird for the Mariners to be on the spotlight, such a spotlight, having people chiming in about the team, because that just historically never happens. So let's move on to some hockey, though, because since the last time we talked, the Penguins shifting to hockey, the Penguins have played like 4 games, and they've won 3 of the 4.
Yeah, so unfortunately, when the Penguins go out west, it can be a little hard to get recording set up because of it ends so late out here, and then Snail was sick, and it just kind of got away from us, and then the weekend came around, and whatever. So the last time we talked, the Penguins were 2-1. They just lost to the Rangers, and they were heading out to California, where they took on, to start this 3-game trip, they took on the Anaheim Ducks. A back and forth kind of game, an evenly played game, a young but exciting Ducks team. The Penguins look to be in position to get at least a point out of this game until a late puck over the glass penalty put the Ducks on a late power play, and our old friend Chris Kreider scored with about 90 seconds left to give the Ducks the eventual win here. So, tough way to start the trip, but just a bad penalty at a bad time results in a Penguins loss here.
Yeah, man, the one thing I did take away from that game was the Ducks are going to, I think, how unfair is it that the Ducks probably have one of the most promising young cores that they've built over these years, where they've been missing the playoffs in their fall from grace years ago. And they get Joel Quenneville, and it looks like Joel Quenneville might just have the potential makings of another dynasty. That's high praise, but they've got a lot of good players, dude. You look at that Lacombe kid and Mintyukov, and I'm like Keith Seabrook. They've got such a good mix of veterans with they've got that old guy line with Vetrano, Strome, and that one fella from Tampa that what's his name?
Killorn.
Yeah. And then they've got Chris Kreider, which is so weird to see him in Ducks colors.
That's weird. Yeah,
that is super weird to see. I don't know if that'll ever, I don't know if I'll ever get used to that. Still makes the same dumb faces after he scores, though, I will say. So that that didn't change. But then you've got that McTavish, Leo Carlson, Troy Terry. People forget about. He's been in the league a while now. Great goal scorer. American kid, and Yeah, man. I don't know. It just seems they got that Cutter Gauthier who had an unreal goal against the Penguins. I don't know. That release is sick. So it's almost unfair that they kind of just bandied about, did their rebuild, and then let's get Joel Quenneville pops in our lap.
Yeah, they had like a really slow rebuild too. Like it just kind of came piece by piece over the course of. I mean, it's been a long time.
I mean, it started with Zegras.
Yeah, and Zegras isn't even there anymore. Zegras, yeah. I mean, Troy Terry, like you said, Troy Terry has been around. He's still young, but he feels like he's been around for a couple years now. You mentioned Cutter Gauthier. He was with Philadelphia and then forced a trade to Anaheim where he's at now. The
For
Lacombe
Drysdale.
kid. Yeah, the Lacombe kid. A lot of young talent, but like you said, mixed in with that older talent. And yeah, it's weird seeing Chris Kreider in a uniform that is not a Rangers uniform, but still scores against the Penguins on the power play. That hasn't changed at all. But the Ducks are a very interesting team this season, especially in a division that I don't think is very good. For the most part, I think it's a division that is going to lend itself to even like a mid-team being able to sack a lot of points and make some noise throughout the season. And I think the Ducks are maybe in position to be a team that can do that, because San Jose I think is still a year or two away. Calgary is bad. The Kings, I don't know what the Kings. We'll talk more about them in a second, but I don't know what the Kings are. I am very confused by the Kings. Seattle they're playing decent hockey. Vegas is good. I mean, I think Vegas is just a good hockey team. But Vegas is like the only team here that I'm like, that's a dominant. That's a team that I can see winning the cup. Vancouver, again, mixed bag. Don't know what you're going to get. Seattle, I think Seattle is like the Ducks, where they're in a bad enough division that if they can stack up enough wins, get enough points, they can be in the conversation this spring. But yeah, the Ducks are, even if they don't make the playoffs, I think they're going to be a team that if they're on, you're going to want to watch, just because they have enough young talent, and then having Joe Quenneville there. If it's not this year, it's next year. And usually teams that are a year away are still decently exciting to watch. So Ducks are going to be interesting team to keep an eye on. But in this one, the Penguins do fall 4-3 at the death. They almost got it to overtime, but couldn't quite get it there. But they get the day off then, staying in the Southern California area. They head to Los Angeles from Anaheim and take on the Kings. And this is a game, the Kings are just a hard team to play against, no matter who is on the ice, no matter who the coach is. But in this one, the Penguins bounce back and they get a nice 4-2 victory over the Kings here last Thursday.
Yeah, on this trip, I don't know about you, Robbie, but I feel like I was really using the Kings game as a measuring stick, because when you got a team like the Ducks, they're so young and squirrely and new. And, historically, I don't know if the Penguins have played the Ducks very well when they go out to California in the last few years. I have a handful of memories of them losing to the Ducks over the last few years. I don't know if that's actually accurate, like wins and losses wise, but I feel like they're young and squirrely, and it's not a good measuring stick. The Kings are a veteran-laden team, and they've made playoffs recently. And yeah, dude, I don't really know. I think they're a playoff team because of the division and everything. Yeah. And you think that, it's Kopitar's last year. Byfield's really kind of emerged as like their next guy. Drew Doughty's still there. That Mikey Anderson's a great pair with him on defense. I think one thing that makes me think that they almost took a step back was the signing of our old pal Brian Dumoulin and Cody Ceci as a pairing. I just don't think historically that was ever a good pairing. And they're also old now, like when they never were like the most sound in their later years. Head scratcher there. And they signed Corey Perry, who's like 40 years old and a former rival. I don't know. Anyways, I was using this game sort of more as a measuring stick was my point. And they pull out the win. I'm trying to think here.
They were down, and this is a game where they were down 2-0 in the first period of this hockey game. They gave up
That's right.
First 2 goals in the first 10 minutes. Warren Fogle and Kevin Fiala. It's 2-0, and I'm immediately thinking, like, man, you're all the way out in California. You're probably tired. You're down 2-0 to at worst a mid Kings team, but a Kings team that can shut you down when they get a lead. And I was really just thinking, man, I just don't know if they have it. And then they get two second period. Evgeny Malkin gets his first of the year on the power play, and then
Connor McDewar.
And then less than a minute later, Connor Dewar gets his first of the year to make it 2-2 after 2, and then all of a sudden you're thinking, man alive, maybe
we got a game.
We got a game, a brand new game after 2 periods. And then the third period, after what felt like years of him being in the minors, Philip Ollander, he even went back overseas at one point. A nice shorthanded goal off a ripper shot by Rickard Rakell that bounced off the post. Ollander collected it and tucked it in past the goalie's pad. A nice shorty there, his first of his career. It's 3-2. And then the Penguins, again, games in past years that they would have, taken the foot off the gas a little bit and given up a tying goal late. They shut it down. They have that lead. They see it out. Crosby puts the empty netter away, and you get out of LA with a 4-2 victory coming off a loss on a long road trip. That's just, like you said, if that's a measuring stick game, then man, that is a big, big early season statement for the Penguins to make.
Agreed. I wanted to say that Hollander goal, I remember they talked about it. He's only like one of like a handful of players whose first goal comes shorthanded. And there was actually another Penguin, Oscar. Remember old Oscar Sundqvist from the Cup winning teams? I think his first goal was a shorthanded goal as well in the NHL. So I thought that was kind of a neat stat. Seeing Hollander play, dude, that guy's a good middle six bottom. Like he's a good versatile player. And it really makes me wonder, like, why did Sullivan deem him unplayable? I mean, he's got a goal. Yeah. He's working really well with Ben Kindle. He's kind of he seems hard to play against. He's pretty sturdy. I think he was like a pretty elite player when he was back overseas for a year. Didn't he win like Player of the Year or something in like Sweden or Finland or whatever?
He had a really good year. I think he was back in. I think he's finished. I could be wrong on that though. But no, he had a really good season over there, which I do believe he won he did win some kind of award. It may have been like the Young Player Award or something like that. I don't know if it was MVP, but yeah, he had a very good season overseas and made the decision to come back. And he's been very good at this point. It had been through, I believe, 5 games, but even since then. But yeah, he gets a big game winner here, shorthanded. And yeah, he's been very impressive in this early season.
Yeah. Great for him. And Sid gets a goal there. I think in the Ducks game, he passed Stevie Y for like assists. I think he climbed that up too. So Sid's still trucking. The youth are coming through. Malkin looks great. I think he's got, I actually don't have the stats in front of me on what he's at, but Malkin has started the year pretty hot. And yeah, the Kings who I think are a playoff team, not a cup contender, I don't think, but a playoff team. That's going to be stuck on the brain just from the last couple of days. I'm going to keep saying the Penguins.
Yeah.
The Penguins, they dig themselves out of a hole and they don't give any more goals up. And that's something that has been kind of a bad habit of theirs in the recent years. So it's good to see early on that some of these bad habits have been rectified.
Yeah. And it was just a very nice win after the 2 losses in a row, the tough loss against the Ducks and against a veteran Kings team. And we should mention in these 2 games against the Ducks and Kings, we saw the first kind of dose of game management regarding Harrison Brunnick and Ben Kindle. Right. Brunnick did not play against the Ducks, and then Kendall Brunick came back against the Kings, and Kendall sat. What this tells me is both of them are going to be staying this season. It seems like reports came out on Monday from Josh Yohe at The Athletic that all trends seem to be pointing to Kendall and Brunick remaining with the team past their 9-game tryout, and the Penguins employing this kind of game management mode to get them prepared for a full NHL season. Again, playing 60 games a junior is a lot different than playing 60 games in the NHL. Not sure what the exact game total they'd be shooting for, but at this point, both of them are too good for junior hockey. You're seeing Brunick, obviously skill-wise, is on a completely another level, but Kendall's brain is functioning. His hockey brain is functioning at a level that can't be taught. He sees the game so well, which is really hard to do when the game is moving so fast. Jake Gensel was a name we've thrown around that plays like this or played like this when he came up. And yeah, I think all signs are pointing, all the trends are going toward them staying. And if you would have asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have said Brunick, yes, Kendall, 9 games and then down. But the way both of them are playing, I think in my head, run the kids, man. Let's have some fun this season.
Yeah, totally. Let's have some fun. But man, this isn't like they're pushing these guys out of urgency to hurry up and get to the NHL. I mean, you remember what they did with Steven Stamkos when he was his first year, is they did kind of the same thing, but Stamkos was a first overall pick, and there was a lot of controversy kind of around that. Like, are you going to make Stamkos unhappy? Like, should he be playing? I think they ended up making the right choice doing that in hindsight, But you look at some of the picks, kudos to the drafting and the scouting by the Penguins, because
absolutely.
I mean, you look at the first 10 picks. I mean, Michael Misa made his NHL debut. I want to say, was it against the Penguins?
I believe it was. Yes, I believe it was on Saturday.
So they never sent him down. He stayed with the team, but he didn't make his debut until he played the Penguins. You look at some of the other picks, like what's his name's? I believe James Hagens. I don't think he's played an NHL game.
No, I think the only guys that are really making Matthew Schaefer, obviously number 1 overall pick.
He's having a hell of a year.
Yeah, I think they said as of tonight he's tied for the lead in points by defensemen.
And they're first 6 games or whatever.
Yeah, going to be a special player. But Misa, who again took a while to debut, but I think other than that, I think everybody else is either in juniors at the collegiate level. I don't think anybody, any of those other top 12 picks.
I think Brady Martin played a game with the Predators.
Did he? Okay, Brady Martin.
Porter Martone's in college. I don't know anything about Utah's Caleb Desnoyers.
Well, that Hagens for Boston. He's at BU right now. That's where he was always going here, BC, one of the 2 Boston schools. But he was always going to college. But yeah, out of the top 12 picks, only Schaefer, Misa, Martin, like you said, and Kendall are the only ones in the NHL. And it looks like Kendall and Schaefer are the only guys making or taking significant shifts. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think there's probably some people out there seeing what Kendall's doing and probably kicking themselves a bit. He's a steal at this point in the draft that they got him at 11, and I'm a fan of the kid too. Like, he's smart. He's pretty fearless. Him and Brunicky, we've said that already. Those guys are pretty fearless. But yeah, we're kind of getting away from. I'm getting away from the LA Kings game here, but yeah, they are kind of game managing these kids, and it's for the best, I think. I mean, who cares if they burn a year? No, I don't think any of us are actually really concerned about, with where the cap's at. I think that they're getting more valuable learning experiences and how the league works by being up with the big club. And even if they got to watch from the press box every couple of games or whatever, I think that's better than going back to juniors and putting up 150 points and just dominating. And he's going to learn he'll take his lumps here. He's going to learn so much more up here with the big club. And yeah, at this point with the cap rising, burning it year doesn't really affect you as much anymore as it did 5, 10, 15 years ago. So Kindle Brunick, I think that is signed, sealed, and delivered. He's clearly one of the 6 best defensemen in the Penguins organization. So I think all eyes will really be on Kindle. And if what's being reported is true, then we're going to be talking about Ben Kindle a lot this season, which I'm more than excited about. And right now, of all the stuff that Kyle Dubas has done in the 2.5 years he's been ahead of the Penguins, this looks like it may be at the very top of the decisions that are made so far, which is, I mean, that's how you rebuild a team into a contender, is hitting on decisions like that. So mad credit there to Dubas, but
big time. Yeah,
the Penguins. So yeah, they're 1-1 on this road trip at this point through 2 games. And then it is up to, I guess, they head north to Northern California for a meeting with the San Jose Sharks. Listen, Sharks aren't going to be good this year, but in their barn, you never know what might happen. And guess what? Artur Shilov's got his shutout the first game of the year against the Rangers. And here's Tristan Jarry gets his first shutout of the year against the San Jose Sharks on the road to wrap up this road trip. And the Penguins, a pretty thorough win here. Crosby gets what turns out to be the game winner in the second period, his 3rd of the year. And then Mantha gets on the board, and then Evgeny Malkin continues his big season to this point with an empty netter to seal it. Just a great way to end this road trip. Listen, 2-1. If you would have told me before the road trip they're going 2-1, I'm going to take that every day. I'm going to take that if the Penguins are one of the top 5 teams in the league and they're going on this road trip. I'm taking a 2-1 road trip to California. Yeah, the Ducks game maybe got a point out of that if you could have, but whatever. You bounce back, you get the next 2, and you head home 4-2 with 2 back-to-back wins on the road trip, and that is big time from the Penguins.
Yeah, dominant performance over another really good young core that's on the rise. And, Tristan Jarry in net, unfortunately, similar to the Mariners, there's just a history there. And I'm happy for the guy. I got nothing to really pick apart about his game or anything like that. The Penguins played good in front of him, which always helps a goaltender out. And I thought that, it's good to see Mantha scoring, getting on the board. This is a big year for Mantha, man. He's on a 1-year ticket. He's not a spring chicken anymore. And this is a guy who historically has kind of left more to be desired on the teams he's played on. He broke in with Detroit and seemed like he was a solid up-and-coming player there. And he had his cup of coffee with the Washington Capitals, where, playing on a team where you got Tom Wilson and Ovechkin, you play 2 inches bigger than you are, and he's already a big guy. And then he moves on to Calgary and he has the leg injury. So, wondering how often he's going to get on the board. But that second line with Malkin, Brazeau, and Mantha, Colby Armstrong has deemed them the mutant line, which I think is very appropriate. Yeah, they look good. That was one of the big things I took away from that game was Mantha getting cooking, and Sidney Crosby just keeps chipping away. Man, that dude is just he's like I don't know what to even compare him to anymore. I mean, he's a mutant in his own right. I think, what do they call him? Like Colby calls him a creature, not a creature of habit, just a creature. So yeah, man, I don't know. Good stuff in San Jose. And like you said, 2-1 out in California. Those trips haven't always been kind to the Penguins, especially in these last couple years. And fortunately they come out with, a commanding victory that you can kind of, fly home and kind of rest easy on, and then a little confidence going into the next game, which they just got done playing tonight.
Yeah, we'll talk about more about Brazeau here in a second, but yeah, getting out west, I think it helps getting out west early in the season. The legs are still fresh. The jet lag might not be quite as bad. You've only played 2 games or 3 games at this point. 2 of them are at home. And it's only a 3-game trip. You're not going there, and then you're not jutting up to like Vancouver or Seattle or even stopping in Vegas or anything like that. You're just heading out there for 3, do your business, get home. When you get 2 days off when you get home as well, you don't have to hop right back on the ice like after a day of rest after a long flight. So, no, great to get out there, get those 2 W's, and get back home. You're 4-2 in the season, and then you're coming back home to, again, one of the more interesting teams to me, because you never know what you're going to get from the Canucks. You're either going to get a complete disaster or you're going to get their offense showing out and having a party. And we're going to call this the Shilov's revenge game as well. He comes over in the offseason from the Canucks organization, though he has spent most of his career in the minors outside of obviously that one playoff run we talked about in a couple games last season. But he comes in, gives up a bad goal. They're pretty sloppy in the first 10 minutes of this game. And
I thought it was jarring that when I saw that. I was like,
oh yeah, kind of used to it by now. I believe it was first shot of the game, so we're back on that train as well, which is fun.
I can't do that again, Robbie. The first shot of the game thing. I can't do it again.
Goal. No, we made it 6 games this time, or 7 games. This is game 7, and that was that was the first time they gave up on the shot or a goal in the first shot of the game. And I do believe there's one game they did score in the first shot of the game.
They did
at some point. So we are very back, as the kids would say. But no, the Penguins in this game, Connor Garland, who me and Snail have talked highly about. Connor Garland, just a fantastic player.
Love him.
How many rumors there have been about him coming to the Penguins at some point? Like that was like a 5-year rumor.
It was. I think even going back to when he was playing in Arizona, I believe those were the rumors. Yeah. And I just love the way that guy plays. But anyways, he snaps one home on Shilovs and kind of had a little bit of PTSD there for a second because of that whole. I don't think any fans think about first shot, first goal more than Penguins fans do after last year.
Probably
and
not.
I'm glad that we've moved away from it. A quick revisit, but like you said, you alluded to this was a Shilov's got it together after that.
Yeah, and let's hope that doesn't become a theme, obviously. But yeah, Shilov's bounced back after that point. He stopped the next 23 shots he faced in this game because after that the Penguins settled down, got their legs back, and Connor McDewar gets his second of the year to tie it up, and then it is all Penguins after that. It takes a little bit while, but the Penguins to end the second period rack off 3 goals in about 3 minutes. Tommy Novak gets his first of the year on the power play. Crosby gets his 4th. Mantha gets his 3rd. And then our buddy, big Justin Brazeau, gets his 5th, his team-leading 5th of the year. And of all the players this year with surprising starts, I don't think anybody has been as big a surprise as Justin Brazeau through these 7 games.
No way, man. I don't think that the idea was for him to be like this much of an offensive producer and playing on a second line. But Brazeau actually came into the year, and I think he had been quoted saying that, he's really going to embrace this opportunity because he thinks he's a top 6 player. That takes some guts to say. That takes some stones to say. And he's proving it. He's leading the team in goals. I think the league leader in goals has 7 right now. It could have changed by tonight, but I believe it's I think it's like Shane Pinto or something like that, over in Ottawa. But there's a number of other players as well that have 5, and Brazeau's right there. And I don't know, man. I don't know if this is one of those situations where the shoe's going to drop. I think that with where the Penguins are at with their team and this roster, I don't expect Brazeau to be in conversations for the Rocket Richard Trophy at the end of the year by any means. But I think this guy's kind of betting on himself, saying that he thinks he's a top 6 guy and he's getting that opportunity. He's making the most of it. And when you're 6'5" and you've got hands and speed like that, I mean, in this league, you're gonna be able to make mincemeat out of forwards trying to play defense. And he's a hard guy to contain when he's doing what he's been showing us he can do. I mean, flat out. I mean, that's just when you have those intangibles, like the size, the speed, and the silky mitts, like that just typically equates to a hard guy to stop from making things happen on the ice. Like it's just plain and simple. There's an equation there, and he's got all of it working for him right now. And every time that line hops over the boards, I mean, there's a good chance that they're gonna make something happen.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least that was the plan. Except now the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for this day.
Big news. Sephora is now on Uber Eats. So if you find yourself facing a beauty emergency, like needing a last-minute gift, or you're just out of your favorite mascara, again, don't panic. We got you. Order now and get $10 off on Sephora orders of $50 or more on the Uber Eats app. Order now. Offer ends October 30th. One order per customer. Additional terms apply. See app for availability. Delivery fees may apply.
No one should have to choose between their own safety and their pets. But nearly half of domestic abuse survivors delay leaving because they can't bring their pets with them. Purina is helping to create more pet-friendly domestic violence shelters through the Purple Leash Project, so survivors and their pets can escape and heal together. Visit Purina.com/purple to learn more.
This episode is brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. What do you bring to a holiday party? Simple. A bottle of Casamigos. Because nothing gets the party started like a Casamigos margarita, which isn't just for summer. In fact, it's the perfect pour all year round. Casamigos is the gift that always feels right. Because anything goes with my Casamigos. Please drink responsibly. Imported by Casamigos Spirits Company, White Plains, New York. Casamigos Tequila, 40% alcohol by volume.
Yeah, and coming over, I read this after the season started, but Brazeau believed that if he was given a shot in the top 6, he could be a guy like this. And it just happened that injuries kind of fell the way they did, and he was just placed there. That's just where he kind of filled in. And at this point, yeah, you don't know what he's going to do in the long run. I'm trying to see what his
Are you looking at his goal totals?
His highest goal total is 11 in one season. That was last
Was that
season.
with Minnesota?
That was no, last season he split between Boston and Minnesota. He scored 10 with Boston and 1 with Minnesota.
That's right.
So he had 11 goals last year.
I want to say the goal he scored on Minnesota was against the Penguins.
Who knows?
I could be wrong, but I swear I remember him scoring against the Penguins last year.
Would that personally shock you at all?
No.
No. But no.
Again, he was a fourth line guy.
Yeah, he's 6'7", off skates. So like put him on hockey skates. Just imagine how big he is. But he comes over and he just gets a shot. They just give him a shot. And it's not like pucks are just bouncing off weird stuff. He's making great plays. Like you said.
He's in tight with next to the goaltender. Forehand, backhand, roof job.
Silky hands and just incredible. He's been incredible. Like it's just nonstop. Every game, you're just expecting him to put up a goal. He has 5 through 7 games. Like the dude is on a tear this year. And it's been fantastic. He's been filled that spot perfectly for what the Penguins need. And let's just hope he keeps running. Keep giving him shots. Keep giving him that role until, he proves it or he shows that he can't handle it. Because right now, it's working for him and the Penguins. And it's been a joy to watch.
Do you have his page pulled up?
I do have his page pulled up.
How old is he?
He's 27. He'll be 28 in February.
Okay, so he's like in his prime, entering his prime.
Well, he didn't play an NHL game though until 2023-24. So like he's kind of a late bloomer here a little bit too. Like he's just kind of he was a minor leaguer and then he just worked his way, earned his way in, and has since earned his way into where he's at now.
I love the guy. I love the player. He's so noticeable out there. And it's not like he's a one-trick pony, like where he needs the puck in a certain place to rip it home. He's making things happen in tight. He's gets through that neutral zone. Like I said, he's really hard to contain when he's moving. But he's also got Evgeny Malkin, and he's also got Anthony Mantha, a capable winger. He set up Anthony Mantha for his last goal too. So it's not like he's a one-trick pony. He can dish. He doesn't look like a liability defensively. I'm not saying that a shoe's going to drop. I'm just saying that at some point, I think that at some point we're going to get to the mean here with that guy, if you know what I mean. Like, if you know what I'm saying. But I'm embracing it right now. This guy has been given an opportunity and he's running with it, and he's really showing. Like, I mean, you look at Boston, you look at Minnesota, that you don't think they could use a 6'7" top six forward right now. I mean, what an opportunity for him and the Penguins as well. I mean, I'll enjoy it. Yeah. I'm enjoying the Brazeau experience here with Pittsburgh.
And I will say, I just checked, and he did not score against the Penguins at any point.
He didn't. Okay.
No.
Did you see who he did score against?
Yeah, Buffalo was who he scored against with Minnesota. And then, I mean, he has, where was that number at? He does have, before he did have 11, he did have 16 career goals, but none, he had it was just like a mix of teams. There was no like one team he dominated or anything like that.
Do you think that, I mean, he's on pace to break his career high by the Olympic break?
If he even keeps like remotely scoring at a pace, even drops off a little bit, he's well on his way to setting new career highs in goals at least. He's not a huge assist man, never has really been a huge assist man, but yeah, he's very well on pace to set some new career highs this year. And if he keeps getting chances with guys like Malkin and Mantha, you have to think, and it gets power play time, you have to think that he's going to set some of those records.
For sure, man. I mean,
and I will say, for a guy that's 6'7", he only has 20 career penalty minutes. None this year.
That tells me one of two things. Either he's super soft, which I don't get that from him. I don't think he's necessarily a Tom Wilson or anything, but he also might not be on the ice enough to really get. But fourth liners, they rack up penalty minutes just by default. They just kind of they get caught out there. It can happen. So I don't know. That's an interesting little tidbit right there, because he doesn't. One thing that it adds up, because whenever I see him out there, he never really has ever seemed like a liability, like in any way.
No, absolutely no. You don't see him just like being a passenger on that line at any point. He is carrying his weight. He's out there. He's doing his job. He's making plays, and he's not taking stupid penalties. And that is a recipe for success that he's turned this opportunity into.
100%, man. Well, yeah, the Brazeau era in Pittsburgh has started off swimmingly. I would say that whole second line has been such a nice surprise with Mantha, Gino, and Brazeau. I think it's injected a little bit of life in Gino too, because I think he goes out there and he's like, I'm not getting Sid scraps for like wingers. I'm not getting the guys that give this guy a shift with Sid, give whoever to Malkin. These are two guys, that line is insane size wise, and they're making sweet music out there, man.
And he doesn't have to, again, having the big guys beside him allows him to kind of sit back a little bit, and he doesn't have to put his body through the punishing, being the big guy on the line, digging out every puck, making every check. He can kind of skate and use his size to create space more than just throw people around, which at 39, I'm sure he feels much better the next morning than when he was doing it at 29. But yeah, having guys like Brazeau and Mantha next to him has to make Malkin's job at least a little less taxing physically, which allows him to use his size and skill more in the open to kind of create chances and get shots off.
I mean, I could see them being a line that draws a lot of penalties because they're going to be so hard to contain. Like I could see guys like Brazeau and Mantha, if they get the legs going, they could be, catalysts to drawing a lot of penalties too. So it'll be interesting to see where those stats kind of line up maybe a little bit further into the season because, obviously, taking penalties hurts you, but if you can draw them and we haven't really talked about it much, but Brazeau's on that second power play. That first power play is basically all the Hall of Famers and veterans. Yeah. And then you've got the second power play that's got Kindle, Novak, Brazeau, and a rotating cast of characters on that. I mean, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how like I said, the penalty things looks in a few months. But let's transition to that quickly. How are we feeling about the power play right now?
So far, I mean, not much to complain about. They got 2 tonight. They've had success pretty much throughout the season so far. I don't have the actual numbers up fully, but I
think they have one shorthanded against. Not the worst. It happens.
No, not the. I mean, they had like 10 or 12.
They led the league, I think.
Yeah,
that one year.
Yeah, like 2 years ago, and they have a shorthanded goal this year as well for their own.
That nullifies.
Yeah, so that would even that out. But no, I think overall it's been fine. Again, that was kind of the one success that you can say from last season. The Dan Quinn experiment was David Quinn, sorry, was that the power play was definitely much better. There's no doubt about that. You can't fault that. But I think this year, like Brazeau stepping up with a power play goal. You got guys just contributing all over. Tommy Novak getting on the score sheet tonight with a power play goal. I thought overall the power play, I thought it looked good in the preseason games. Always a little grain of salt there, but I thought that so far I've been pleasantly surprised with it. Not much to really complain about. I thought overall it's been a pretty solid effort overall. Right now, the Penguins are clicking off at 71%, which is good for 7th in the league, and that is counting tonight's game. If the Penguins can keep something like that up, they have.
How are you not a playoff team?
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at that wrong.
It's like 70%.
Nah, I'm looking. That was their point. That was their point average per game. No, they're clicking off at 26%, which is good for 6th in the league. Which is fine. Penalty kill definitely it is middle of the pack, but they've had some rough showings there. But overall, the power play still sitting there at 26%. Last season they were about the same, 26%, good for 5th in the league last year. So yeah, they're clicking about the same pace as they were a year ago. So let's see how that all pans out as we get along the season here. But so far, results are honestly not that much different than what we saw from the Penguins last season overall. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with it so far.
Yeah, not a lot to complain about there. I like that there's 2 units out there. I think that Dan Muse is actually kind of saying, you guys are the veterans here. Your guys, there's like 4 out of 5 of you are Hall of Famers. You guys need to figure it out on the power play. I mean, I'm sure it's much more complicated than that. I'm sure he's not just figure it out, go out there and, play pond hockey and score. I'm sure they've got a game plan, but I like that he's been splitting the power play way more evenly than Sullivan did. Yep. He gives the second unit, 45 seconds to a minute, which is more. Sullivan would throw the second unit out there with like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And, I like that it's the new cast of characters on that power play. And it's like, hey, I'm giving you guys almost a minute here. Do what you can. And they never look really that out of place or anything. I like that Kindle's out there. I like that Brazeau's out there. It's so funny seeing them next to each other because Kindle's undersized and Brazeau is almost Char's height. Seeing them next to each other, next to the goal, it's just like, damn, Kindle's head is like close to the crossbar and you can't even, Brazeau's head's not even in the frame. But good stuff there. The penalty kill, there's probably a little bit more to be desired. I had actually a note written down that I wanted to bring up. And it's not a big deal or anything. It'll be quick, but One guy that I've noticed, I noticed it tonight, and I noticed it against one of the California teams. I think it was San Jose. Achari's gotten crushed a couple times this year. And Achari's kind of one of those guys for me that's sticking out a little bit on the roster as someone who's, he was never fleet of foot to begin with. He's kind of a fourth liner, third line grinder type anyways, Robbie, but Achari, I think he's getting hit because he's a step behind. I think speed wise, thinking the game. I don't know if it's something he'll get up to speed as the season goes on, but I just feel like I've been noticing Achari a little bit. He seems a step or two behind, even in a fourth line role.
I mean, yeah, the fourth line's playing good, so I'm not going to harp on it too much. But yeah, I mean, again, his body's been through so much too. Like, he just takes a hammering. He was injured for a good chunk of the preseason, so you wonder how that might be taking some time to get up to speed. But yeah, I mean, Achari, again, he's going to be there as long as he's healthy, I think, unless somebody would be like, hey, do you want to trade him? I see Achari being a regular guy, but no, I mean, as long as the fourth line's playing like it is, I'm not going to harp too much on it. I don't think, unless there would be mass injuries, he's not going to move off that fourth line much. So yeah, he's definitely been taking a beating, might be a step slow. Again, could be age, could be, it could also factor in the fact that he got a late start to the preseason. But as long as the fourth line's playing like it is, just keep it together and roll with it unless something would happen.
The other thing that I wanted to ask you about is, I don't know if you've been paying attention to Wilkes-Barre much lately.
Fire.
But dude, how long is it until Avery Hayes gets a call up?
At some point, one of these guys that is just not clicking this season, whether that be like a Phil Tomasino or something like that. One of the, I'll call him a passenger. One of those guys, they finally just make a decision. Avery Hayes can't stay down there much longer. He's absolutely tearing it up down there. The whole team's playing fantastic down there, so credit to them through 4 games. But Avery Hayes is a guy that many thought was going to make the team off of out of training camp. Got squeezed out by a numbers game, but it's clear right now that he deserves a spot over some guys that are playing every night. So Avery Hayes, I'd say, man, if he's not up here by Halloween, so we got about a week and a half. I think we got to start pressing that button to get him here because he's just tearing it up down there, and he could definitely be used. I thought he should have been, I thought he should have been on the roster to start the season, but I knew his time down there has got to be short because you just can't. He's clearly ready to play in the NHL.
He looks like he's definitely ready for a shot, and he's a player I'm super excited about because he looks like a spunky guy. I think he fought in preseason. I might be wrong about that, but I think he dropped the mitts. Maybe I saw an old highlight of him, but I want to say that he dropped the mitts. He plays with some bite, but he's got that scoring touch. I think he could be such a good middle six guy. I mean, I'm not touching that second line at this point, but I looked at that Ben Kindle line whenever he's out there, and it's him and Hollander and Tommy Novak. And Novak finally got a goal, which I was happy to see. But there were times you talk about a passenger. I was getting worried about that Novak. He was injured a lot last year. So, he's going to take some time to get up to NHL speed. But this is a guy who's proven he can score in the league. I think right now he's slotted well at third line. But I was like, man, how good would that line look with an Avery Hayes, who's a right-handed shot, I believe, and him and Hollander and Kindle? I mean, I get excited about the thought of that. And not to mention Tristan Brose is down there too, who I thought had a really good case
Brose
to make the
one,
team out of camp. But again, he doesn't need waivers. It's a numbers game. Easy to keep him down there. Let them play, get their minutes in, their top 6 minutes in down there. And so, yeah, it'll be interesting. Wouldn't that be a nice Halloween treat to have an Avery Hayes debut for the Penguins?
Would be fantastic. I mean, they have some time between now and Halloween, which is going to be my own personal deadline here. But yeah, so the way he's playing right now, if he comes out next weekend and has another multi-goal, multi-point weekend, at some point you're just going to have to try to make the numbers work and get a guy like Hayes up here and ready and in the lineup, because you can't let that just sit down there. And especially when, again, any offense is going to help this team get better. And Hayes looks like he's going to be a big piece of this.
Totally. I saw that Will Horkoff had a hat trick for, is it Michigan?
Yeah, Horkoff's been scoring out of his mind through the first 3 weeks of the college season. He's been all over the place.
I mean, I know it's like these players that have these parents that played long careers in the NHL. I just think that at this point, I'm happy they took him, but at what point do you stop passing on players that had parents that played long careers in the NHL, man? I know that they were it's a flyer, taking a flyer on every prospect, but Will Horkoff, I mean, he's been lighting up the NCAA. He
has been. Yeah, Horkoff's been playing, had a great season. He's probably playing his way onto the United States World Juniors team. He was in their summer showcase. He got some action there. So a name to watch out for, especially as the season rolls along, because Will Horkoff is one of the hottest players at the collegiate level right now.
Good stuff, man. This is the stuff that's exciting, and the Penguins are they're rolling right now. They're playing pretty good. So
big test on Thursday night.
Who are they playing?
They head to Florida for a meeting with the defending Stanley Cup champions.
I don't know how those guys just talk about rolling. Those guys just keep winning.
Yeah, again, another measuring stick opportunity here on the road against a really good team. Obviously, a good chance to kind of see where things are at. You've won 3 in a row. Your longest winning streak of the year. You're feeling good. You're riding high, but you're going to go up against one of the best now. So we'll see how that all plays out here on Thursday night. Should be a good one down in South Florida. A good one to see where the Penguins are, who they're when they go up against one of the better teams in the league.
Absolutely, man. Looking forward to it, and we will be there to cover it.
We will, as
Robbie,
always.
Other than that, I actually don't have much else to say. This was a good pod, though. Nice to get back into the groove of it here. Looks like we got some regularity as far as scheduling going.
Yeah.
So we'll be coming to you more frequent, a little bit more frequently.
Yeah, the Penguins don't go out west until I believe January or February at this point. So we'll have a more regular schedule here. We'll make it work around the Sweden games. We'll figure out something there. But other than that, we'll be here, recaps, try to get some mailbags in. So there is a mailbag tweet out there right now. So if you want to go ask a question there, we'll get to it at some point. But Snail, if you got nothing else, I got nothing else.
I got nothing else.
All right. So that'll wrap up this episode. We'll be back Thursday night after the Penguins take on the Panthers. So for Snail, I'm Robbie. Have a good rest of your week, everyone.